welcome and good evening, families and friends. We thank you for coming tonight. This is such a special occasion. I am honored to welcome everyone here, and to the students, I just want you to take a deep breath. I know you're nervous and excited at the same time, and this is a very special time for you. So take a deep breath, look around, and look at your neighbor and say, "We did it." You did it. So class of 2018, congratulations. And then, if you can turn around, I know you didn't do this alone. You have family that have supported you all along the way. If you could turn around and thank your parents or your family, your loved ones, for all their support on this journey that you've taken. So please just turn around and say thank you and give them a shout out. And congratulations again.
Welcome to the 2018 Scale graduation. It is my privilege to welcome you to Scale's 44th graduation and award ceremony. I'm Lisa Cook, the Director of Continuing Education, and on behalf of Scale, we would like to thank you for joining us tonight. To the Honorable Mayor Joe Curtatone in his absence, to our representative Mike Farmer from the Department of Secondary Education, to all the amazing members of our school committee, which I will acknowledge again at the end, Superintendent Mary Skipper in her absence, Dr. Almi Abeta, our amazing Deputy Superintendent who is here with us tonight. We are honored that you're with us tonight. We thank you for your ongoing support and commitment to adult education here in the city of Somerville. We appreciate you. And to our honored guests, our Scale graduates, congratulations to all of you for qualifying to attend this evening's ceremony. Congratulations to the parents who are here to witness this great moment. Congratulations to children, partners, spouses, relatives, and friends for being here to make this day special. But most important, I offer a heartfelt congratulations to our amazing graduates on your special day. I truly hope you enjoy the ceremony that the amazing Scale team has prepared for you this evening. We are honored that you chose Scale to pursue your academic goals. Now I have the pleasure of declaring this graduation and award ceremony open. Now let us begin. Our presentations will start, our ceremony will start with the presentation of awards to a few outstanding students. I would like to invite to the stage Sam Stryer, who will be presenting the Eileen B. Stryer Memorial Award. And immediately following Sam's presentation, you will hear from Susan Barnard, who will present the Susan L. Barnard Leadership Award.
Thank you, Lisa. And a big thank you to the Scale staff, with a special thank you to Jean Calandrio and the Awards Scale Committee for the continued support in honoring the memory of my late wife, Eileen. This is my 9th year attending the Scale graduation, and I just want to applaud the students here for your wisdom in choosing the Scale to add to your educational toolbox, and for your achieving another milestone in your journey for self-improvement. And now, thanks to Scale, I get the privilege of presenting this year's Eileen B. Stryer Memorial Award. Eileen spent more than 30 years in the field of education with a passion to help. Eileen worked at Scale as head of the adult secondary education, where she served as a role model with a positive attitude, committed, and dedicated to her students. Eileen left a legacy of friendship and caring that is memorialized with this scale award. Unfortunately, Eileen lost her battle with cancer in 2010. This award was established by colleagues, family, and friends to honor Eileen and keeping her memory alive. The Eileen B. Stryer Memorial Award comes with a $250 check, and the name of the student is inscribed on the plaque that hangs on the walls of Scale. This year's award is presented to a student that exemplifies many of Eileen's qualities: dedication, commitment, and attitude. Receiving this year's award is Serene Moraes de Oliveira. Now I was going to ask Serene to come forward and stand with me, please. So I want to share with you a little bit about Serene. Serene is one of 18 siblings, the only one to come to the United States a decade ago from Brazil, and has always worked to help others. Serene is going full speed ahead in pursuit of her dream of being a Portuguese translator so she can help others as she was helped when she came here. She's compassionate and selfless. She sent her earnings to her parents until they passed away and continues to send help for a disabled sibling in Brazil. One of many jobs is Serena's is a nursing aide for hospice patients. She has faithfully attended math class in the evenings twice a week, many times after work or between shifts. Serene is in a time in her life when most people are retired. In spite of her rigorous work schedule and personal issues, she is committed to continuing her studies for the HISET, that's the high school equivalency test, with hopes of graduating in the near future. I am honored and pleased to present the Eileen B. Stryer Memorial Award to Serene Moraes de Oliveira. Thank you. Did you want to say something? Serene is going to say a few words.
Good evening, gentlemen. I'm pretty nervous. I just want to say thank you all for helping my dreams come true. I appreciate to Nancy who wrote the letter. Sorry, I can't talk. I'm so nervous. And I want to say thank you to all to help my dreams come true. Thank you all.
Good evening, everyone. Even though it's been a while since I've worked at Scale, I just feel such a sense of pride in seeing all the students, and I just feel very lucky to still be part of this night, and just wanted to say congratulations to everyone. When I worked at Scale 10 years ago, I was able to see the student leadership actions firsthand. When the students spoke at the State House, or when they joined a committee, or when they helped their fellow students. But since I've been away, I have to depend on the Scale staff to make the selection for me. And they have always made an excellent decision. And tonight's recipient, Destina Michelle, and I just spent a few minutes ago before the ceremony because I wanted to meet her in person and just find out who she was. And she definitely, in our short introduction, lives up to what the staff wrote about her. So I'd like to read this to you, and then she'll come up and get her an award, which is also a $200 check, and a plaque that hangs in Scale for who knows how long. So here's what we have to say. Destina has been a student at Scale since September 2010. She's a hardworking single mom who understands the importance of education. 2 of her children are in the Somerville Public Schools, and the third is at Bunker Hill Community College. She is here today receiving this award because she's made a lasting impression on everyone at Scale, and the ELL staff unanimously voted for her. And these are some of the reasons she was selected. Destina takes her studies seriously and persists at the challenge of a difficult task. Even when she's exhausted from a late work shift or not feeling well, she enters every class with a smile, greets everyone, and shows enthusiasm for learning. Her teachers and fellow students all benefit from her relentlessly positive attitude. Each year, she attends the annual Scale Walkathon, which is a fundraiser for scholarship program, and leads the chant as the students march through Davis Square. Destina is always ready to give a challenging task another try, offers encouragement and help to her classmates always. Scale's very proud to recognize Destina's wonderful outlook and leadership efforts and want to thank her for being part of the Scale community. And so do I. Destina. You want to say anything? Yeah, okay. And let me...
Good evening, everyone. I would like to say thank you to all staff and at Scale, and especially Nayo and Wagner, and so I don't remember all the names, but I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, and thank you again.
Congratulations to you both, and thank you to the Stryer family and Susan Barnard for your generosity and continued support of Scale and its students. Our next set of award presentations will come from our dynamic English language learners department. Tonight's awards will be presented by instructors Laura Brooks and Zoe Morosini.
Hello, everyone. I'm Zoe Morosini. This is my first year at Scale, and it's been an honor to work with the staff and the students. And the next speaker knows who she is. She impressed me greatly this cycle, always had me on my toes, and I think made me a better teacher. So I wanted to give Erica Silva a moment to speak to all of you before we present the certificates. Erica.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Just say sorry, I'm just a little nervous, but I'm trying to read it here.
It's okay.
Today I'm here to talk a little bit about my relationship with Scale. I started Scale 2.5 years ago with the English that I learned, listening in the street, at work, full of frustration, because I feel inferior to a people, to be here a long, long time and could not communicate right. I start here at Scale in the level 1 with Liz, and I met several people. Just look like it changed my life a lot. Every step I was engagement, and I have a lot of encouragement and support for the teachers and for all employees from Scale. Show that I'm capable, they believe in myself. I had several opportunities at Scale. Though to you, I return to do that's the like most, be a nurse. And for these contacts, it's changed all my life. Today, I can only thank each one of you dedicated and love for each student who arrived here, for the ability to listen each story with no judgment, accept everyone, regardless for color, religion, or immigration status. Today, I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for everything, but Smiley, for believing in me and in so many kids, and make us believe you can capable and able to do everything. I have to say thank you for my family, to support, for the love, and it's very proud. I thank for saying me I got a part for this great family called Scale.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Laura Brooks, and I teach the highest level ELL class in the morning, and this is Zoe, and she teaches the highest level ELL class in the evening. We're very proud of the ELL graduates, and we want to congratulate them all for their hard work and wish them every success in the future. I will now read the names of the graduates to come forward and receive their certificates of achievement. Lundia Duperrier. Maritza Flores. Najmi Jean Charles. There's Najmi. Naj. Congratulations. Hannah Lee. Congratulations. Leila Nascimento. Mary Jo Raymond. Congratulations. Erica Alvin Silva. Alexandre Samau. Congratulations. Tomomi Sutaki. Congratulations. Johnny Vital. Congratulations. Ana Flores. So congratulations again to all the ELL graduates.
Congratulations, ELL students. We're proud of your accomplishment. And now we'll transition to our diploma candidates. I'd like to invite to the lectern Skills New HiSET Chief Examiner, Derek Washington, to present the HiSET diplomas. And immediately following Mr. Washington, we'll hear from our adult diploma program presenters, Joe Villain and Nikki Redvinay.
Good evening. How's everyone doing this evening? Come on, we can do better than that. How's everyone doing this evening? All right, all right. As an educator, it's one of the greatest honors to honor our students and assist them in achieving their high school equivalency. So on this evening, without further ado, we want to bring forth our graduates and we want to honor them. We wish you the best of luck in your future endeavors, and just know that we are always here for you at Scale. So first we have Utende Abdul. We have Carolina Calderon. We have Sharon Desmerada. Oscar Orellana. Maya Rivera. And Luis Ernesto Humana. Again, congratulations to all our high set equivalent students. Thank you.
Good evening. Oh, come on, you did better for the high set. Good evening. With respects to the Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Almi Abaita, distinguished school committee representatives, guest speaker, Mr. Michael Curry, parents, Scale staff, and most importantly, graduates. My name is Joe Villain, and I am the Adult Diploma Assessor at Scale. Just a few brief words of clarification in case anyone wasn't aware. The Adult Diploma Program is an alternative method of earning a regular high school diploma. The ADP is an approved and accredited program by the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. The curriculum guides students through a series of 5 required tasks, whereby each task is a project demonstrating the skills needed to function in progress in daily living situations, as well as an understanding of various relevant general knowledge areas. Upon successful completion of the program, students are awarded an adult diploma through the auspices of the Somerville School Committee. And this evening I have the distinct honor of presenting the guest speaker representing these adult diploma graduates. I've had the privilege of working with this young man as a student in our program. I have witnessed his exemplary efforts, often under challenging conditions, and he has proven to be reliable, responsible, and resourceful. He has demonstrated a capability of responding appropriately to many challenges and is consistently dependable under varying circumstances. He has surmounted numerous difficult situations, resolved them successfully, and made them positive experiences in his overall development. He is truly an accomplished young man, and it is my definite pleasure to present Ray McFadden Cogliano.
Thank you, Mr. Verlaine. Graduates, families, friends, and staff, it's an honor to be part of this celebration for the class of 2018 Scale program. It is truly a pleasure to share this moment with you all tonight, as our graduates have just achieved a massive goal leading into the next chapter of our lives. As most of you know, the Somerville Center for Adult Learning has provided us, the graduates, with the opportunity to continue our education and future endeavors through the ADP and HiSET programs. Stories I have heard from some of my fellow classmates have shown me that the journeys we have taken to get here have not always been the easiest. Mine has not been either. I was previously attending Somerville High School for the past 3.5 years, but encountered health issues late last year, which seriously impacted my attendance. My school advisors ended up connecting me with Scale and Mr. Verlaine, and I was thrilled to get another chance to finishing my diploma through the adult diploma program. I would like to thank Scale's staff and community for helping me achieve my goal in reaching the next level of my education and going out of their way to provide me with their wonderful community program. I sincerely wish the best to all graduates and families and hope for the best of luck in all your brighter futures.
Good evening. My name is Nikki Radvani, and I am a teacher in the GOAL program at Scale. The GOAL program is a joint program at the Somerville High School and at Scale, and it provides qualified English language learners with a pathway to their ADP. GOAL is in its second year, and tonight we have our first graduates. Our speaker tonight is Maritza Flores, and she is a graduate of both the ELL program at Scale and the GOAL program at Scale, so a true superstar.
Good evening, everyone. Life is not easy for anyone. Sometimes you don't see the challenges on the outside, but every single one of us has both those in everything that goes on inside as well. Give it your all. Dare to be all you can be. First of all, I would like to thank my family for always inspiring me when I felt hopeless, especially my mom, which hasn't been here all this long, that I have been attending to school. However, I've always felt her close, and the big advising support from her kept me always going. Thank you to every single teacher and the staff at Scale for all the overwhelming help and support towards the students. I can't find words to say how grateful I am with all of them. I formed part of the GOAL program at Scale, and I would like to share a little bit of my experience of being in this program. It was not easy to go through all the work required to be part of it, but it wasn't impossible either. Once I started, my goal was to reach my high school diploma, no matter what. I can't deny that at some point I was almost giving up because of my night job. It was exhausting going to school in the morning, but the GOAL program's teachers, which I am gonna name them all. Liz, Nikki, Sherwin, Bridgine, and Arles have always encouraged me to work hard for anything, especially for life goals. This program is fantastic. I am so impressed of how in this program I got my high school diploma within 2 years. It's amazing, and once again, thank you to all the people that helped, encourage, and support me to finally get to this day. And remember, getting your high school diploma or your GED at wherever age you are now is still a big achievement. Thank you so very much.
So the staff of Scale has heard this before. I am a daughter of a Baptist preacher, so I am going to ask the school committee members to join Dr. Abeta and myself in the receiving line to receive your graduates tonight. And as a doctor of Baptist preacher, that means full participation. Everyone on the stage gets a job tonight.
It is my privilege to present the 2018 recipients of the Adult Diploma Program's diploma. Michaela Erin Aranella. Ray McFadden Cogliano. Maritza Guadalupe Flores. Marie Grelier. Najmi Bocage Jean-Charles. Josue A. Rivera Lopez. And now our Harvard Bridge diploma recipients, Gabby Diligent, Juan Carlos Flores, Ana Maria Pina, And last and certainly not least, Doris E. Rina Landaverde.
Congratulations to all of our graduates. Very exciting. So, we have with us an amazing speaker tonight. I encourage you to read his entire bio. It's like 10 pages long, so I won't go through it. I'm just kidding. It's not that long, but I'm sure it'll get there. I want to take some time to read just a few of his accomplishments. I am actually proud to have known Michael Curry for over 20 years, and I can truly say he is a leader, an advocate for the disenfranchised, a champion for youth voices, and truly exemplifies the transformative power of education. Michael Curry is an accomplished attorney. He is a member of the National Executive Committee for the NAACP. He is the former president of the Boston branch of the NAACP. In his spare time, he is also the Legislative Affairs Director and Senior Counsel at Massachusetts League of Community Health Center, which serves 800,000 patients. Michael is often a guest commentator on the news, both TV and radio, sharing his views on race, equity, and justice. He is a proud dad, a mentor to many young men and women in our community, a decent basketball player. And tonight he is your graduation speaker. Please help me welcome Michael Curry.
So they always say when you have a graduation, very few people remember the remarks at the graduation. My goal is going to be to leave you with at least one or two things that you remember from these remarks. But I'd be remiss if I didn't start with something very important is, I have the feeling like we're at an exam right now, right? And ultimately, you want these graduates to feel the energy in this room by the family and friends that are here tonight. So I'm going to ask all of you to stand up, make the most noise possible for these graduates, please. Thank you. Now, I saw a lot of smiles on their faces when you did that. Now, I'm going to ask another favor of our graduates. Having been a person who grew up, and I'll talk a little bit about this in a minute, who grew up in the inner city in a housing project, who graduated and did not know I'd live long enough to graduate high school and went on to college and graduated, got my BA and went on to go to law school and graduated. I remember thinking at every stage of that graduation that there were people who got me there, that there were people who sacrificed, my sons who didn't have me home for dinner because I had an evening class, or a parent who watched my children, or a friend who listened to me talk about what I had in class that day and had to listen to me explain the law or issues of politics. There's a lot of sacrifice that goes into your getting an education and your getting a degree. I'm going to ask that you stand up and give a round of applause for your family and friends here tonight who supported you. So stand up, graduates, and give them a round of applause. Thank you. So first and foremost, it's funny, we walked in and I was hearing music, and I was thinking that's the right music to play as you come in for a graduation. I think I heard the 1970s song, Ain't No Stopping Us Now. And I'm reminded of how important it is to remember that ain't no stopping us now, and I'll talk a little bit why that theme is important. I want to start by congratulating the graduates. It is impressive, it is moving Your stories are moving, and I'm sure I've only heard a few, but there are many more moving stories that I love to hear them from each of the graduates. I want to thank my good friend Lisa Cook for inviting me to be a speaker today. This is one of 3 graduations that I'll speak at in the next 2 weeks. Dr. Abeyta, the members of the school committee, the mayor's representative here tonight, the deputy superintendent, all of the parents, faculty, friends that are here to support our graduates, I want to say hello. There's a Swahili phrase that we use sometimes in the African-American community. It's habari gani. What's the news? Loosely translated for the millennial or the Generation Xer, it says, what's up? So I want to share a few things, and there's one I want to share a little story about a butterfly. But I want to get to that in a minute. I want to talk a little about my mother. My mother was a young woman in Greensboro, Alabama, who did not have a high school diploma, who grew up in a poor family, was raised by her grandmother in a very poor neighborhood, who grew up in a very racially divided time. So if we think that there's racial division today, think about the 1950s and 60s, where the racial divide was clear. It was about the back of the bus. It was about the toilet that you could use, the bathroom that you had access to, about the job you couldn't get depending on the color of your skin. It was about the opportunities that passed you by, not because you weren't smart or you didn't have the talent. It's because someone decided that you could not have those opportunities. That was that time. That was the time that my mother lived in, and it was clear for my mother that going on to become a doctor or a lawyer or a scientist was not her possibility. And the reality is my mother had to take care of a family. She was a young kid working at a young age, like many of you. She lived in a poor neighborhood where there were very few jobs. And she decided as a teenager to move out of Greensboro, Alabama as a teenager. Now, this may shock some people because some of us have grown up in families, we've had parents, and we never thought about having to move out on our own. But she moved and left Alabama in, I think, age 16, 17, with a child, with my older sister, and moved to Boston not knowing a person in Boston. Now, I can't even imagine moving to a city so many miles away and not knowing anybody, but moving, as the book Warmth of Other Suns call, you're moving from the Jim Crow South to the North for better opportunities. And if you have not read that book, it's called Warmth of Other Suns. She moved up to the North for the opportunity to come to Boston to get a better job, to get the opportunities to raise her family, and to have a life. And my mother moved here and found that there were challenges here too. She moved into a racially divided Boston, a city that was still torn, not torn in the same way that Greensboro, Alabama was torn, but still torn. Neighborhoods were divided. Some would argue they're still divided. School systems were divided. Housing developments, because we lived in Lenox Street housing projects in Lenox Street, Orchard Park, Mission Hill, if you know the Boston area, or Old Colony, was still a divided city. My mother moved here. She had me shortly after coming in the 1960s. I was born in the busing period, if anybody knows the history of Boston. I was on those buses in 1970s, headed from Roxbury over the bridge to Charlestown to the Warren Prescott School. I remember sitting on that bus as a little kid and my mother being proud that I'm following an education, that I love school and I'm a good student in school, and she didn't have the opportunity to be that kind of a student in school. And I remember sitting on that bus and riding that bridge over to Charlestown, and the streets were lined with people throwing rocks at kids, elementary school kids, headed to school. That was our history in Boston. That's a history that we forget about sometime. When we try to figure out where we are today, we need to remember where we came from and how we got here. And I think about my mother and the sacrifice and the courage it took for her to put me on that bus, knowing what she was leaving me off to head into. So my mother had the turbulent beginning. She had a rough time here in Boston. And I remember coming home one day as a kid, honor roll student, always good in school, and she said she was studying in the kitchen. I'd never seen her study. She just worked from the time we got up in the morning till the time we came home. I never saw her engaged in school. And she would try to help with homework, but she didn't really understand the homework. So I came home one day and she was studying to get her GED. And I can't tell you how proud I was of my mother, that a woman that I knew was brilliant, that had never had the same opportunities that I had taken the opportunity now as an adult to go back and get her education. She understood that it wasn't too late. She understood that it wasn't going to be easy to have a full-time job as a housekeeper, leaving in the morning and cleaning homes, coming home, feeding your kids, and then having someone watch your kids to go off and take a night class. She understood that was sacrifice. She did it. And she graduated, and I can tell you, I think back to her graduation, and it was inspiring for me as a kid. That even though I was good in school and she had instilled in me an appreciation for education, I understood that it was about her sacrifice. It was about her struggle, because I didn't have to struggle like she did. I didn't have the demands on my time and attention like she did, and she still went back and graduated. She had me. I left Boston after graduating school here in Boston and went to college in St. Paul, Minnesota. First college attendee in my family. Went to college, and again, you got to remember, this was all built off of the momentum she had started. I get to college. I struggle with college because I'd never been to college. I'm one of a few African-American students on the classroom and on the campus. So I'm struggling to figure out how I fit in. I'm from an inner city. Many of the kids on campus were from the suburbs of communities all across the country. I'm sitting in class and I'm struggling because I didn't necessarily come to school equipped with the education that many of them did, because they came from the best high schools across the country. And I came from a very good school, but they came from very well-resourced schools, where many of them had traveled to Paris and London and had experienced all these great things that me as a kid from Roxbury had never seen, had just dreamed about and read about in a book. And I'm on campus, and I remember I sat there at graduation day, and I was so nervous, like many of you are today. Now, remember I was talking to myself as I was sitting there, and I said, Michael, do not cry when you walk across that stage. Be tough. And I remember as I walked across that stage, I was fully in tears. And some of my friends didn't understand why I was so emotional about it. But I was emotional about it because I knew the sacrifice it took from many in my family and my community to get me here. I knew what struggle I had gone through, how much doubt. I heard that, the doubt you had that you would even finish. The times you thought about quitting. The times you thought about nobody supported you or you didn't have the kind of support you needed. The time that teachers were tough on you. And I said to myself walking across that stage, I finally did it. And that emotion just swelled up in me, and I was in tears, and I got clowned by all my friends that whole rest of the graduation. But I tell that story because I'm always reminded of a story about a butterfly, a cocoon, a little boy. The little boy finds a little cocoon, the caterpillar cocoon, takes the cocoon home, and he sits it in his room, and he's watching it. And he's anxious to see that cocoon hatch and the butterfly to come out. And he's watching it, and he's watching it, and hours go by, and he gets frustrated. And at some point, he sees it open a little. And hours go by, and it opens a little more, and hours go by, and it opens a little more. And at some point, he's so frustrated that it's taking so long for this butterfly to come out that he takes a pen and he pries it open. And eventually, the butterfly pops out. And one of the wings is underdeveloped. So the butterfly can't fly. And the boy is distraught. He's overwhelmed with grief because he now doesn't understand why this beautiful butterfly can't fly. So he runs into the room, and he runs up to his father, and he says, this butterfly can't fly, and I don't understand why it can't fly. And the father sits him down. He explains to him, he says, son, part of the process of a butterfly being born is it has to struggle out of the cocoon. And what you did when you pried it out, you robbed it of its struggle. It needed to struggle to become that beautiful butterfly. That's you. That's all that struggle you've gone through to get here. That's the countries you've come from, the English language learning challenges you've had with making sure that you understood people or that they understood you. All of that is your struggle that's going to make you brilliant and great. And I'll leave you and I'll talk a little bit before I walk away with just some thoughts that I want you to remember. Thoughts that my mother shared with me, thoughts that I have in the years that I've been doing this work. And I'm reminded of a few things. One is a Frederick Douglass quote. It says, without struggle, there's no progress. Remember that. Without struggle, there's no progress. Another quote by Frederick Douglass said, "It's not just the heights you reach, but the depths from which you come." Now I want you to think about that. It's not just the heights you reach, but the depths from which you come. So for my story, I knew that when I left Lenox Street Housing Projects, single mom, poor neighborhood, a mother who had just had her GED, and I went to that college in Minneapolis, St. Paul, in that very prestigious school, and I'm sitting in that classroom, and I had never traveled abroad, and we only traveled to other states, that my books may have not been the same as theirs, that my opportunities may not have been the same as theirs. There was something special about sitting in those classrooms knowing that I had been through that, and I was sitting next to them, right? It's not just the heights you reach, but the depths from which you come. So I knew when I walked across that stage, it says something amazing, that we were walking across the same stage. We were getting the same diploma, but they didn't come from what I came from. They didn't have the struggles I had. So it meant something that I had gone through those things, the depths, and I had still graduated with them. I remember that to this day for this reason. I took that as momentum for the rest of my life to this point. I left undergrad and decided, you know, I want to go to law school. I don't know if I can take the exam. I don't know if I'm smart enough. I don't know if I can compete with the other students taking the exam. I don't know if I'll get accepted. I didn't know any black lawyers. I didn't know any lawyers in my neighborhood. And I decided to do it anyway. I decided to study for it and prepare for it. One of the things I say, and I say this to you as you go on, because this is just your first diploma. So I'm going to tell you, I don't care how old you are, make this one of many diplomas that you'll get. It's life learning. There's no stopping at this point. Until they finally call you to rest, you should be trying to educate yourself, learn new things, and get more degrees and more papers. And the reality is, I said to myself, how special it is when I take those exams that I need to figure out what it is that I struggle with as a student. Do I read slower? Does it take me longer to comprehend something? Am I stubborn about my study habits? Like, I tell my sons all the time, don't study in front of the TV. How many people study in front of the TV? Wow, y'all look good. Nobody studies in front of the TV? Well, my kids have bad study habits, so I tell them, understand what your challenges are as a student, and then challenge yourself to be a better student. So I get to speak to young people all the time, and I tell them, figure out you. So if it takes the kid next to you 15 minutes to read something and they become smart at that topic, but it takes you 45 minutes to read it, take your 45 minutes, you'll be just as smart as anybody else in the class. But take 15 minutes and you'll struggle. That's a lesson I'm going to tell you, that no matter where you go, a graduate degree, a certificate program, you're going to have that same challenge. Figure out what you need to be successful. I'll leave you just with a few other things. I woke up this morning, there was a gospel song on that Lisa knows by Hezekiah Walker called Grateful. Beautiful song. If you've never heard the song, Google it, look it up. And the song's all about being grateful. There's something about being grateful about where you are right now. Take the time to take this all in. Take the time to think about and reflect on all you've done to get here and appreciate you. And I know that sounds real simple. Sometimes we keep it moving. We go on to the next thing, we get to the graduation, we sit through the process, but we never celebrate us. And no one can celebrate you like you can celebrate yourself. You're all very brilliant people. You're going to have opportunities to take on new challenges. There's a book that came out years ago and a whole conversation about leaning in. Always lean in. When there's an opportunity for you to learn something, when there's an opportunity for you to take on new challenges, when there's a position at your job, when there's a new height that you can reach, always lean in and take that opportunity. And I'll leave you with this. You're special. But the challenge in life is to figure out how special you are. Every day you wake up, you got to figure out what is that gift God gave you that you were put here to make a difference in. This is a real challenging time in this country. It's a real tense time around immigration, around race, around access to health care, around equity, and we need you. We need you to be engaged on issues. We need you to be aware of issues and pick up the paper every day and read those issues. We don't need you to turn off the TV now. We need you to watch CNN and MSNBC and Fox 25 and WBUR and NPR. We need you to be so engaged, because now that you got those certificates and those degrees and you've walked this stage, there's an opportunity for you now to go make a difference. You'd be remiss if you went through this whole process and you didn't really get the message in this. To whom much is given, much is expected. And now what you should expect of yourself is to take this education, this opportunity, and go and make a difference in life. I will tell you, I'm very honored and humbled to be here. I will tell you, and I say this to all graduates, so I got like 5,000 people calling me all the time, is anytime you want to reach out and you want to have a conversation about opportunities, you want to just bounce things off of, I'm here. And I don't say that lightly, I take that very seriously. You could ask about 60 graduates who actually followed up and called me, and many of them are in jobs and they have opportunities because I take the time, and I mean that. It is an honor to be here to provide those remarks for you today, and I will be praying for you that you're super successful in life and that you have all your heart's desires. Thank you. Thank you.
I hope you remember that. The national president, the former president, a national board member for the NAACP, an attorney here in Massachusetts that oversees 800 patients, said to call him. You guys should be writing that down. Facebook him tonight. Don't miss the opportunity. So now, we've come to the close of our ceremony, and I want to thank everyone for being here to support our graduates. And again, and again, and again, congratulations to all of you for your hard work, your perseverance, your dedication to yourself, to your dreams, to your family, to your future. I want to say just a couple of words by way of housekeeping. I want to thank all of our school committee members who are here with us tonight to celebrate and honor you. And as I call them, if they could please stand, I'd like to ask to thank committee member Emily Ackman, committee member and chair Andre Green, committee member Laura Patone, committee member Carrie Norman, vice chair. And again, to our illustrious deputy superintendent, Dr. Almi Abeta, we thank you. So graduates, you have just one more test. So I am going to ask you to stand to your feet. If I may ask the audience members to remain seated until our graduates have exited the auditorium completely. Our marshals will be leading them to the cafeteria where refreshments will be served. But this is your last test. The tassel ceremony, which symbolizes your transition from student to graduate of scale. I charge you to go and be great. Class of 2018, please move your tassels to the right to signify your new status as graduates of scale. Congratulations. I think we have a little celebration music. We'll meet you in the cafeteria. Thank you. The staff of Scale, thank you all for your hard work today and throughout the year.